Warning. This program contains very strong language from the outset. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Hard Lines, the show where we talk about Roast Battle UK. My name is Drew Stearne.
And joining me is one of my favourite roast battles of all time, 2 times UK champion, international MVP of the Roast Battle League, Miss Shalaka Kurup.
Hello, how are you, Drew?
I'm very, very well. I'm very excited that we're going to be doing this. You and I have been doing Roast Battle, I think, between us for at least 700 years.
I've been doing Roast Battle for 700 years.
A very long time. And it is, for people who do it, it's such a favourite topic. It's something that we love doing, love talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, you were judging just this last Friday.
I was indeed. That was a fun time.
It was a fun.
Yeah.
That was it was a 4 battle night. We usually have maybe 5 or 6, but it was a more compact night.
Oh, sweet spot. We ended on time, which we never do.
But we kicked off with Joshua Bethania versus Emmanuel O.
Joshua, we found him, guys. We got the guy who comments on our girlfriend's Instagram photos. We got him, guys. We fucking got him. We got him!
He's an actor. You might recognize his appearance, and this is true, by the way, on Netflix hit show Sex Education. His whole arc lasts from season 4, episode 1, 31 minutes, 36 seconds. To season 4, episode 1, 31 minutes, 44 seconds. He played the role of a sexually active young man coming from a broken family seeking therapy, a role which he prepared for by being a sexually active young man coming from a broken family seeking therapy.
2 very, very different types of battleists. How would you describe, to people who aren't familiar with Joshua Bethania and his amazing delivery, how would you describe his style?
I would describe him as the J.R.R. Tolkien of battlers, because he cannot do a joke without taking off on a tangent to describe a tree or to describe his emotions in that moment. Just the longest tangents in the world. But he always, I think most of the time, he lands a punch.
He does. You're right. It does take a while to get there. And you have to, I guess, much like with Tolkien's writings, you have to stop and concentrate.
Yeah.
Because you have to listen very carefully.
Yep.
He is the most softly spoken of all the roast battlers we have out there. And he was up against Emmanuel O, who we haven't seen too much of. I think it's the second time I've seen him battle. He didn't have as good a battle as I think Joshua did.
Yeah. It was a bit rough. It was a rough one. But hey, we're all learning.
Yeah, I think my problem is that he's too handsome for comedy.
Ooh, yes.
He's a very handsome man.
And he's been on TV. He's been on Sex Education, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, no one who's been on Netflix is allowed to be on Roast Battle.
I think this should be a new rule. It's one-way traffic. You should go from one to the other and then never come back.
Yeah.
I was up next against Verity Sharp. It was Verity's first ever battle. And I think
she was fantastic.
She did
so
good. You never really know how it's going to be when you go up against someone who's never battled before. Complete unknown. You can't do any research on their style or anything like that. Yeah. And she came in and she destroyed me. It was almost a clean sweep. I got 1 vote from you, which it felt like a petty vote towards the end.
I don't think you deserve to lose
3-0.
3-0, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm slightly biased on that one. But she came out the gates. I really hope she was on fire. I really hope that she comes back and does more battles.
I also think that something, you see this with Laura Walsh, you see this with Verity. I think there's something so satisfying about seeing the sweetest person you've ever seen in your life say some of the most horrible things in the world.
Yeah.
I think that contrast is just delicious.
Yeah, it's especially fun when they're directed at you. So to be on the receiving end of such a prodigy of roast battles, well, I'm sure we will be talking about her battles in future. We had Gary Walsh, very much a mainstay.
Always
of the roast
a character.
Battle, always a character up against David Ferguson,
yes.
Which got dubbed the Cancer versus AIDS battle.
Welcome to Roast Battle.
This is kind of key to what makes Roast Battle tick is that there's nothing that's off the table. It's what you do with it that counts. And suffice to say that one of them does actually have cancer, but the other one doesn't have AIDS.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't restrict anyone from roast battling. In fact, I would positively encourage anyone from the HIV positive community to take part, because I think we need more representation.
We're allies on this podcast.
But we do already have our quota of cancer patients. So if you do have cancer, we're not interested. Gary is genuinely, from the way he looks to how he delivers and how he breaks down and throws away his notes and goes off script, is absolutely fantastic. And look forward to covering his stuff later on. We finished off with Helen Kay versus Saleha Masood. Two very small female battlers who pack some big punches, and that one I think was a classic. I think it ended the night on a
good note. I think it's always hard to have a final battle and make sure that it ends the night on a good note, and I think that one did.
We actually recorded a field report on location, talking to some of the people involved in the night. First up was host Luke Hall.
What do you think of tonight?
Fun.
Great. What was your favorite battle of the night?
It was definitely Gary versus David. Gary Walsh versus David Ferguson. One of them has cancer, and if you're seeing the footage, you can guess which. It was non-specific cancer. We never got to the bottom of which cancer. Do we know which cancer? Blood. Is it blood? Really? That's one of the bad ones. We made too much light of that. What's the word for discriminatory towards cancer? What would you call that?
Cancerphobic, yes.
I mean, we can workshop it.
And allegedly the other one had AIDS. The next person we have is one of our judges from tonight, Becky Umbers from Australia, a place that doesn't exist. New Zealand. Unbelievable. White people all look the same. Becky, as a white person, what do you think of tonight?
My favourite battle was Emmanuel versus Josh, because I didn't feel bad telling Emmanuel he had lost. Loved it. I'm going to go back to New Zealand, tell everyone, guys, you never believe it, I saw a black man get cancelled. It was crazy. It was crazy. Where's the others? It felt close.
Out, Becky Umbers. It's back to me. We have the man of the hour, Josh, the winner of Emmanuel versus Josh.
Hello.
Joshua, what's it like being my dad?
It's terrible.
How was your evening tonight?
This is very uncomfortable, considering I know your real father, and I've met him more than you have. What's happening? Are you guys okay? Like, what's the situation?
Anyway, Joshua Matharia! Give it up for audience member Francis Keaton! What's it like being a tall blonde woman?
I get depressed a lot.
Francis, what was your favorite battle of tonight?
Helen and Saleha.
She remembered both.
Actually, they were like shit hot.
They weren't. I don't give a shit. I'm drunk. Give it up for Roast Battle.
But this week we are going to be dissecting Battle from the Archive. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of battles to select from, so we wanted to kick this podcast off with one that represented Roast Battle at its absolute best. And from a previous tournament, it was the 2024 tournament.
Yes.
There were some great battles in the build up to it.
Very much.
And one battle was between Luke Hall and Steph Aritone.
Aritone.
We were just discussing how to pronounce it. She's Italian, Polish, and the name is definitely Italian, and I am not qualified to pronounce it accurately. But for those uninitiated,
I can pronounce it how I want. I'm brown.
You can do whatever you want. No one's gonna bat an eyelid. In terms of, let's kind of set the scene for if someone is just listening and not actually watching this. How would you describe Luke Hall in terms of his presence on stage, what he looks like, and his style of battling?
Luke Hall is he's a very Tom Cruise character, isn't he? He's
short and likes aliens.
He's short and likable, but he also has a very larger than life personality. In the way that it's more like Tom Cruise from a film rather than Tom Cruise from real life.
Right.
Luke Hall is not a Scientologist. Let's be clear about that. I think he's a very charismatic short man. He's gonna hate how many times I've called him short.
It is like when you're doing roast battles, what someone looks like, what the immediate first thing you see about them is the number one piece of ammunition for it.
100%.
And Luke is a little bit shorter than your average man.
And also, who am I to talk? He is tons taller than I am.
Tons is being generous. Like, it's not that much different. He's got his undergraduate degrees in physics. He's got a is it a master's or even a PhD in nutrition? Something crazy.
Yeah, he works in nutrition.
A subject you don't actually need a qualification for.
Yeah, you can just say whatever you want.
But he has it. I'm a man who takes a lot of supplements, and some of those are on Luke's recommendation.
Yeah. We should get him to have his own discount code for the Roast Battle podcast.
I could just do that for myself. The amount that I spend on pills and potions right now is slightly ridiculous. He is an odd character. We spent after show on Friday talking about how ski jumpers are injecting their penises with hyaluronic acid to get an advantage.
Of course, yeah. I walked in halfway through and left immediately.
That conversation went on a lot longer than you think it did, and it involved a PowerPoint presentation.
On what?
Oh, he had broken down the physics of it, like how much a girth increase in your penis can increase your flight path during the Winter Olympics.
Sure, wouldn't it just decrease your flight path because you're carrying around more weight?
Yes, but having more downstairs allows you to wear a larger suit legally, and the larger suit causes a larger surface area, which, see, I'm doing Luke's job for him now, but I'm sure we'll get him on at some point to delve into it. But he is he goes quite dark on the scale of where comedians tend to go. I've been up against him several times. I've never won. I've always struggled. One battle we only had 3 hours notice. It was at the Fringe.
Of course,
someone had dropped out, so we covered, and it was a great battle, but he wiped the floor with me, and he's done it subsequently again.
Yeah, he's one of our best.
Have you've battled him at least once, right?
Twice, I want to say, or well, have I? At least once, in the tournament, which was hard because Luke and I are very good friends. So it was hard to write mean jokes about him. I say hard; it was actually incredibly easy. But it felt hard emotionally.
Fair enough. And he hosted at the Roast Battle Just Gone as well. It's his first time.
Knocked it out the park.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do. It's that extra dimension that most of us never do.
Yeah.
Even those of us have been involved in Roast Battle, every type of way of being part of it. Yeah. Hosting is the one thing that very few people do.
On a scale of 1 to Mark Cram, he was 9 out of Mark Crams.
Mark Cram being the most regular host of the past few years.
And arguably the best.
Arguably the best. We will delve deep into to him at some point as well, I'm sure. But right, so that's Luke Hall. He was up against Steph Aritone.
I'm going to do that for the entire recording.
Am I allowed to do the hand?
You are, because it's white on white crime. That's allowed.
Okay, so same for Steph. How would you describe Steph?
Steph is the loveliest person you will ever meet in your entire life, full stop. Not only is she gorgeous, she's also just the nicest person. The kindest, friendliest person. So seeing her be mean with this huge smile on her face to Luke. And Luke is also a very nice person. Seeing these two nice people say horrible things about each other. It was fantastic.
Some battles, you see the competitors walk away and they're glad to not be on a stage with each other anymore. There are moments, I've got photos. I took photos of this night. There are photos between Luke and Steph where the way Steph is looking at Luke, I've never seen a woman look at a man that with such adoring eyes. It was just such a nice little buddy, like romance going on the stage. Nothing actually romantic, but just there was a real connection. Like they had great chemistry on stage. They bounced off each other amazingly.
I think those are the best battles. I think the worst ones are the ones where two people look like they can barely tolerate each other's presence.
I think it's an important part of Roast Battle is that nothing about what you're saying is real.
Yeah.
Like it's not an actual attack on their character. You can talk about things that are real.
Yeah.
But you're putting it to a backdrop of being mean for mean's sake. Like you don't actually want to cause any harm. And you can't be the kind of person who will take offense from a Roast Battle joke. You have to be roll with the punches, as it were. And when someone doesn't, it sours the whole thing. And both of them, perfect. The way they delivered.
The vibes were immaculate.
So to set the scene for this was during the 2024 tournament. This was a heat in the opening round. So this was in the first half before we go to the absolute final. So this is not only do they have to prepare jokes for that one competitor, you have to write jokes for potentially whoever you could meet on that evening. So the pressure to be funny so many times and loads of jokes you'll never even get a chance to use. What's that like? Because you had to go through that process as well. Like you obviously you know who you're seeing in the first round, but after that it could be anyone. Yeah,
I would say the Roast Battle tournament finals for Roast, because the other countries do Roast Battle finals differently, right? You have a belt, and then once in a while someone challenges someone for the belt.
Like
it's
boxing,
all very it's like boxing, very very American. I think the Roast Battle London finals is some of those most stressful moments that I've ever had in my life, because you're spending a week and your thoughts are just garbage. Not only are you trying to write for 20 different people all at the same time, all of your thoughts are you're just wandering around London for a week thinking the worst thoughts a person, and it takes a toll on you.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's like being an ambulance driver or something. You're seeing some bad things.
Yeah, pretty much. You just it's just negativity in your head for about a week. But the payoff is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think you start to lose sight of what is a good joke and what's an okay joke. So I've had jokes that I've been like, that joke is shit. And then when I've done them on stage, I've been like, oh yeah, I've completely lost myself in what the concept of a joke is, that I haven't been able to recognize a punchline when I see one.
That's the thing. But by the time you tell it, and this goes for all stand-up, by the time you tell a joke on stage, you've heard that joke 100 times. Yeah. It's like when you say the word yellow over and over again, it completely loses any meaning.
Yeah.
So you have to just know, I need to say it at this rhythm and I need to deliver it like this.
Yeah.
And theoretically, by the maths of joke writing, this should work. But until you say it out loud in front of an audience,
just don't know.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that context in mind, we'll break down the battle round by round. So roast battles traditionally have 5 rounds, which may include a rebuttal, and we'll break it down by round. So let's jump in and look at round 1 from Steph Aritone versus Luke Hall from the 2024 UK Championship.
There we go, cheeky Ali Woods in the corner.
Hi everyone, this is Luke. Say hello to my little friend. Luke is 5'6", which is hard for him because statistically, 6 out of 7 dwarves aren't happy.
Pretty good. And I am one of those. It's true, I am the size of a hobbit. It's great to see Gollum having a brat summer. That'll do.
I'm not skinny enough to be Gollum, but thank you. That's so flattering.
Right, so that kicked off. Also, like, side note, that was probably the last time that you could get away with saying 6 and 7 on stage without someone doing this. So,
6, 7?
Yeah, there we go. We got.
I don't even know what that means.
I have young kids. I also don't. So that. What we were saying earlier, that when you have someone who has a physical attribute that is so obvious, it's the thing to jump onto. And almost if you don't do it straight away, it feels like, did you notice he's short? It feels like a compulsory thing. So the say hello to my little friend.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Like, it touches on like a cultural thing that people get the reference to. And it just makes sense. But it also, like, in a weird way, it kind of anchors their relationship with each other. Like, it sets them up as friends straight away. I just thought it was a very clever way of teeing it up. It feels like a throwaway line, but it's got like layers to how it sets the battle up, would you say?
I also think statistically 6 out of 7 dwarves aren't happy. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think with any roast battle, at least the way I look at it is your first joke and your last joke are your best ones. And then you have one really good one in the middle, and everything else can be crap as far as the battle is concerned. But starting with a bang is just fantastic, and that's exactly what Steph did.
You cannot, sometimes from the judge's perspective, if you kick the door in with such a good joke, it's almost like you have to unprove it to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially if you go first and you nail it straight away, it makes the audience confident that you know what you're doing. Everyone thinks all these jokes are going to be this good, and if your expectation is high, it actually works to heighten the joke. But it is a great joke. It's doubling down on the shortness, but that's absolutely fine for one round like that. And the rules across different like countries and territories differ. We tend to be more like it's 5 rounds and it's 1 joke per round, but the kind of the double down stuff you've kind of been attributed with your style of like this such and such is their name, as a way of getting a second dip or like a little B joke in there before you go to the A joke. And that's kind of what this is as well. Like it's a teeing up rather than going into, it's not a full joke in its own right, but it's just a nice little amuse-bouche of a joke. If you're writing stuff, it can help. Sometimes those can be really good. I think the best one that I had on Friday was one like that.
This disgraced CBeebies host.
Which probably could have worked for Luke as well. It's almost a universal line. But the 6 out of 7 dwarfs aren't happy, kind of tying into Luke's depression, which he's kind of mentioned on stage as well, works perfectly.
I also think it's good. I've seen a lot of people do that format of one joke that's an intro and then another joke after that. And if those two jokes, this is just a personal preference, if they don't tie together thematically, in my head, it's like you've just cheated and done 2 jokes when you should have done 1.
Yeah.
But if it's a joke, so if it's an intro like this, whatever joke, and then a tag, but they're all thematically linked, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's not easy to do as well, because you could just have so many jokes. You go like, I could just take that one and put it in there.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
But if they're linked thematically, that's a big bonus. It feels like
it's one joke.
Thing.
Yeah. Unless my only exception to that rule is looks like jokes, where that's just it's a list style joke where you're building on momentum. So this person looks like this person looks like this person looks like this, and then you hit a crescendo. That's the only exception I will have to that rule.
We're getting quite technical straight away. I love it. And Luke's rebuttal of like Gollum having a brat summer. Keep in mind that this was the brat summer
2024
at the time. Luke sometimes runs jokes by other people, and he ran like some of these jokes by me. I didn't know what a brat summer was.
Yeah, well, Drew, you are old.
I am. He said that to me. He says, "Do you know what a brat summer is?" I was like, "I have no idea."
Yeah. I think he ran it by me. I knew what a brat summer was, and there was a brief moment where he was a bit scared because this was in March, so brat summer was just taking off. He was a bit scared that people wouldn't know what it meant. Everyone knew. They loved the joke. They lost their minds. My favorite thing about him doing that joke is I did this in judging on Friday. When you get a big laugh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like that, a joke can be one line. And if you get a big enough laugh, just stop talking. It's my pet peeve.
The thing is, if you have it written down.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't do it now, I can't do it again.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be good. It's a real gamble.
It is.
You can only come down. Like.
Yeah. The chance of your second joke, if your first joke hits to the point where Luke's joke hit, the chance of that second joke being good enough to increase the laughter from there, it's a gamble. It's a real gamble. You have to be so sure that the next joke is going to be fantastic. And most roast battlers are 100% wrong in their assessment of that.
No, absolutely. But equally, I totally get why it's hard to kind of pump the brakes at that point. So the Gollum Brat Summer, because it's a timely reference, it's almost like when a joke is made at the expense of someone in the room, or it references something that's happened that evening, because the audience feels like, oh, this had to be of now. You get that heightened sense of like, we're all in on this together. This is our thing right now. It's not a recycled joke as well, because it
seems
timely.
like fresh. Yeah. When the Epstein file stuff started building up and coming out, I was like, oh, this is going to be a rough roast battle week. Everyone's going to try and jam it in there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a week when they first came out where all the judges decided to claim Mark Cram, the host, was on the Epstein files, and that confused the hell out of him.
Yeah.
He's like, where did this come from? And it was a running joke before it even started. Like, it was a planned running joke. There are certain things. That was the first reference to a Brat Summer, and one of the only I've heard at a roast battle. And the Gollum, Steph gets the Gollum thing. Time to time. You mentioned that she's an attractive girl, and she is, but there's something about the eyes and the face that you can lean into. It is not fair, but roast battling is never that fair. And it works. But she stuck the landing on the rebuttal as well. Like she took it in her stride and then moved on. If you had to mark this round going one way or the other,
I'd vote for Steph at this point in the battle.
I think it would be very, very close. I'd say slightly, but not by a whole point. So it would lean slightly towards Steph on this one, but we'll carry on with round number 2.
Luke is single, he's got a good job, and he's dating younger women. So he's trying to be a sugar daddy at the moment. But he looks so young, he's more of a fructose brother.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Steph looks like she thinks the power of crystals are going to cure her chlamydia.
He is hoping.
Yeah, so we kick off that round with sugar daddy to fructose brother, which I think is a really lovely use of language.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand that joke at all.
Okay.
I mean, I understand sugar daddy versus fructose brother, but I don't understand what that has to do with him looking young.
I think because
is it like a chemical joke?
I guess fructose is like a crap version of it. So like it's not the quality of sugar. It's just high fructose corn syrup instead of proper sugar. So it's like a B version. Like he doesn't have it in him because he's broke and he's young. He doesn't have it in him to be a sugar daddy, which is rich and older. He's poor and young, but would like to be it. So he's like the B version of it.
Fair enough.
But it's always fair to say that if you have to explain the joke, it's not that good. So let's mark him down on that because or her down on that rather. I thought it was a lovely way of using the language, but if it doesn't land with everyone, it doesn't land with everyone.
Yeah.
The audience liked it. There was a big laugh from the room.
Yeah. The only thing I will say to that is I've heard a similar joke there used to be a meme at some point in time that was like less of a sugar daddy, more of a glucose guardian.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one. Yeah.
So that's what that reminds me of. So I'm going to knock down a couple of points for that one.
I like Glucose Guardian because of the alliteration.
Yeah.
But there's something in Fructose Brother because another word for brother would be like frere.
Fructose frere. Yeah.
Fructose frere. Maybe we'll update the joke of that. I've just thought of that. I really liked it. The audience loved it. And I think part of that is the goodwill that's been built up by that first really great round from both of them. So the
people love Steph immediately.
Yeah, but both of them, they're primed. The audience is relaxed because they've seen that both of them are up for it and they're both taking the rounds well. It's not the darkest stuff which can split an audience. This is like a really like nice level surface layer joke. It doesn't go too deep. It doesn't cut too deep. Yeah. And the audience is on board. But then Luke goes in, cuts in a little bit harder. It's like kind of that double layer of
her being a Crystal's girl.
Crystal's, which is a really easy joke to make about any woman over 30. It's just right there. But like the power of crystals, and you go like, okay, I can kind of see that connection there. We'll clear up her chlamydia. Yeah. And then you go that high and then low punch.
I love that. I love that contrast in that joke as well. I think I'd be inclined to change my vote to Luke after round 2.
After round 2, so swinging in Luke's favor. Okay.
Yeah, just because also. Like we mentioned, alliteration. I love alliteration. Crystals cure chlamydia.
Yeah. I mean, that's a subtle thing because you could mention any...
Yeah, you could say... It just doesn't hit the same when you're like, she thinks that crystals cure her gonorrhea. It
just worked better. Yeah, the same way that Guardian, the...
Glucose Guardian.
That alliteration. Those kind of linguistic tools which go back as long as...
Luke is actually... one of the best for that. He's great at using alliteration. He writes his own raps for Roast Battle. He writes his own songs for Roast Battle. He's very good at using language and using alliteration and rhyme to craft a fantastic joke.
I think it's what separates kind of half-decent battlers from really, really good ones, where it's not just the sentiment, it is the exact wording that's been used to craft it, which goes for all comedy, really, but Roast Battle equally so, that the specific words that you use in the rhythm, it can be quite easy to go like, this person looks like that, I'm just going to say that they look like that. But if there's a way of crafting it in a way that linguistically it flows in a great way, that uses these tools like alliteration or rhyme, it works great. And
I think that's the mistake that a lot of first-time battlers do, where they think they can just say their main thoughts.
It's a big thing. I've seen it a lot.
Like you'll see someone go on stage and be like, he looks like his wife's leaving him, and it's like, okay, and? We're at Roast Battle, no one's married here. Yeah. Everyone's wives have left them.
Fair enough. I agree. I think there's a difference between just saying something mean and it has to make sense to the audience. They have to kind of and it be crafted like a joke, like to have a build up to it, like a punchline. There's the same things, the pull back and reveal kind of idea, the rule of threes, all of those. And there's great ones. We'll come across them as we go through other podcasts, other episodes. I mean, I'm thinking of one that you did against Helen, where you just said, if it looks like a pig and it oinks like a pig, Helen is ugly. And like that, this perfect rhythmic breaking rule of thirds. There's so many things in there, and those kind of linguistic styles and additions really help sell a joke. And this
because if I just gone on stage and been like, Helen's a pig, she's ugly, that's just a horrible thing to say.
It is, but crafting it in a way that's the poetry of comedy, and I think that's what Crystals and Chlamydia is. I don't think that much of Shakespeare or Chaucer was about that combination of language, but we do like to see it at Roast Battle. Right, so things might be heading slightly in Luke's direction. Let's go into round 3.
Luke always stops to stroke a cat on the street. It is creepy how you already know these women's names.
Yeah. It's Steph. So Steph has a diploma in wine. She likes to tell people that it's never too early for wine, and I'd like to tell her parents it's never too late for an abortion. Kill yourself.
Hadouken! That's what we all come to Roast Battle for. Okay.
Right, so we've got a classic pullback and reveal there, another technical term of where you build up an expectation for something and then you reveal it to be something else. In this case, he's stroking cats, but it's women called cat.
Yeah.
I think that it's the piling into a man for being creepy is like it's
classic.
It's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
It only works when they're not really creepy, I think, because if they genuinely looked creepy, it would just feel too close to the truth. So he's an adorable young man. It doesn't feel too true. So you got that distance.
I think it does work if they're creepy, if the audience has turned on them.
Yeah, and that is something that can happen. Where if you've dug yourself into a hole, then piling on as the competitor going against them, that can definitely work. And that's not what's happening here. I think Steph's completely within her rights to make kind of creepy guy on the street jokes, because we're looking at it going, we know that this isn't really how it is. And the pullback and reveal, that mechanism is where that comes from the joke, because the setup, it goes around stroking cats isn't necessarily funny in its own right. The pullback and reveal is what
I also like that it's such a gentle joke, where it's not, I mean, obviously the implication is a lot worse, but it's just such a sweet, it's such a nice, gentle joke. Oh, he strokes cat is a woman. Yeah. It's just nothing really truly that offensive in there.
Well, that's kind of where, I mean, the Six of the Seven Dwarfs, that's probably as dark as she's gone so far. It's been quite mild and layered, and certain battlers are on that nicer, mild side. I have erred on that side of things in the past myself. Luke, not so much.
But you know what I really respect him doing is it's never too early for wine. I'd like to tell your parents it's never too early for an abortion. Immediately the audience is like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Because suddenly he's decided to go hard.
It's a rug pull, especially because that last joke from Steph is so kind of mild. Yeah. And I think what saves the audience from going kind of off a cliff with him on that is the fact that Steph rolls with it and it doesn't feel like to her that this is any different from any other round that's happened. So that's another part of being in a roast battle, is being a good receiver of jokes and knowing 100%. How to take a joke.
But I think what helped actually sell that joke was Luke doubling down by saying kill yourself.
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously, mental health and suicide is a really important and a topic that's worth delving into by a different podcast for different reasons.
Not this one.
We definitely use it as this release of that tension and that negativity around it, and we just kind of throw it about. And it's not to belittle it. I think there's obviously a lot of people, Luke included, who have struggled with depression and stuff. And roast battle and comedy in general is an opportunity for us to just throw it out there and just not worry too much about saying these things. And the fact that it's almost more of a reflection on himself of what he's throwing out there, and it goes dark. And the fact that Luke, that Steph just rolls with it, I think just helps save that, because the audience, you can audibly hear that. Because there's some people here going like, oh crap, that's what this is. And every roast battle, there's people there who don't know what they've come to see, and you can hear them because they're the ones going, am I allowed to laugh at this? The answer is yes, you absolutely are allowed to laugh at it. In fact, we positively encourage it. It's weird if you don't. But it is a gamble. You can turn an audience on you if they don't feel like that is the kind of thing that they want to hear. So you're playing the audience as much as your opponent on that.
I think it was a risky choice to do that joke after Steph's joke. But I think and saying kill yourself after that was a huge gamble. But I think he played it right.
You double down on it, and it worked. It played off.
And I think part of it is having an opponent like Steph where you feel safe enough to take those risks, which is what you were talking about earlier. I think a lot of people also forget that roast battle's a performance, and you have to bring your side to it. Because I've seen a lot of people who do roast battle for the first time or the first couple of times, and they're so focused on their jokes that they're not even paying attention to what the other person's saying.
It's easily done. It's really easily done because you don't prepare. your reaction.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the other person's going to say.
Yeah.
You spend all your time writing jokes. And especially like me, if you're not confident in memorizing your jokes and you feel like you're going to maybe change some things around and you're still making edits in your head as you go, I'm often lost in my next round.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to focus on what's being said. And that, again, that's the thing that separates good battlers from amazing battlers, is those who are during the other person's round, they're completely focused on what's being said.
Yeah.
And they're in the moment and they're writing.
There's also a middle ground, right? Because
Yeah.
after you've done roast battle a certain amount of times, if you're nervous about a battle and you're struggling to remember what your next joke is going to be, you have done it enough to know the cadence of a joke. So it's not, you don't have to 100% focus. You can also just laugh when everyone else laughs.
Yeah.
And kind of fake it till you make it.
Definitely.
It's still putting on a show.
Yeah.
You know?
I sometimes listen out for keywords and like, oh, she mentioned my hair. Like, so I've got to come back just around here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
There's a Velma from Scooby-Doo joke. Easy.
I have definitely done one of those against you in the past.
You and everyone else in the world. That other one about Preeti Patel, Unpreeti Patel, which every other male comedian has done about me. Every time I hear Unpreeti Patel, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, well, I guess it's right there on the table.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the never too late for an abortion joke compared to never too late for wine, because Steph genuinely is a wine person.
Yeah.
She's a wine expert. The audience doesn't know that until you tell them that.
Yeah.
So you have to establish that. But by establishing it, he said, never too early for wine is a phrase that we've heard people who like wine.
It's also a great characteristic to bring up in roast battle, because some of the best battles have someone who's painting the character out before you while they're doing their jokes. And what Luke's done phenomenally is just with every joke, he's added another piece to her personality that everyone's already assuming is her personality. It's just confirmation bias. So it's like Gollum's having Brat Summer, and then she's a Crystal's girl, she's got chlamydia because she's a slut. And then you go into she loves wine. You're just doing confirmation bias on the Steph that everyone's already assuming is that Steph.
Yeah, I really like that idea that nothing feels untrue. Like, even if she hadn't provided any of these as facts, although the wine is definitely on her list. I don't think the chlamydia is on the list, but you're absolutely right. It's building a picture that we kind of already have and confirming that. And it's tapping it. That's the thing, because when we share facts with each other ahead of a roast battle, even with people that you get a list of stuff and you went, yeah, that's fine, you had this job, but I need to tell the audience that for them to understand the context, and then I need to build that into some kind of joke. Whereas if it's how someone looks, like, you look like you're into crystals, that just lands straight away. The audience just agrees with you visually by confirming what they're seeing with their eyes, because these two people walk up on stage and the audience has no idea who they are, what their backstory is. Means you could make stuff up. Some people do.
Yeah.
You can go into their facts or do your research on them and then try and eke out some of that stuff. And some people give very mediocre facts. It's hard to craft those into jokes. But
I love when someone gives me a fact that is so true for their personality.
Okay.
Yeah, like you get a fact from someone, and like the number of times I've got a fact from a male comedian that says, "Oh, I love watching anime," and I'm like, "Of course you do, you fucking incel."
Like, I could have guessed that.
I could have guessed that.
I had with Verity on Friday. One of her facts was that she'd been to clown school.
Of course she did.
You didn't need to tell me that. The audience just assumes that's the case, and so I didn't even end up using that. I did have a joke that I didn't end up using. I couldn't really factor in, but I wanted to do. It was maybe a bit too inside baseball, but I was going to say that I enjoyed writing jokes about her, but it felt a bit like punching clown.
That's great. That's a great joke.
Yeah, but I think only the comedians would get it.
Yeah,
because it's a play on punching down. And, and then I don't want to have to explain what punching down or punching up is. And then also it involves like punching. It's like, is that too violent? But anyway, I got two in my head and didn't use it. But this, I think, was very different. So the cat joke or the abortion joke.
I'm going to give it to Luke again.
So, swing to Luke. Yeah, it was a gamble, but I think it paid off as well. Right. Let's go on to the next round.
Luke clearly shags loads in the metaverse.
It's true.
But he does have this like weird hot rat boy aesthetic, and that's because he fucks soil.
Yeah. I like the way it feels on my penis. When Steph's not falling into the fires of Mount Doom, She likes to visit cat cafes, and she donated her eggs last year, which means somewhere out there's a bug-eyed little freak child trying to shag a cat.
Okay, well...
There's a lot of cat fucking it.
No, there is, isn't there?
Okay, so that's Steph going a little bit, not necessarily meaner, but definitely just going a little bit darker on the...
Yeah.
Just from a language perspective, he fucks loads in the metaverse. Like,
phenomenal joke.
And that is all about the cadence of how it's delivered.
Yeah.
It's like that sarcasm in loads kind of already implies that it's not much there, and then you kind of reinforce it with the metaverse joke, which is also a timely reference.
Yeah.
Metaverse is something that
Rat Boy Summer was mentioned. Big mention for Rat Boy Summer.
Yeah, so that he fucks soil. I mean, I think it's such a great visual. It doesn't really make sense.
It's because of Barry Keoghan and Saltburn.
Oh, of course.
I know. See, it's too much. It's too much for what it is. See, the number of things you have to connect to get there. Because I was thinking about it and I was like, oh.
Because the rat boy
aesthetic, yeah. There's too much going on there, I think.
Yeah, also, I didn't like Saltburn, so I've kind of scrubbed it from my mind. But he did fuck soil. See, I thought it was funny just the language being used. And that because sometimes can carry a joke.
Yeah.
But that joke was even better than I thought it was. So I'm retroactively giving that
I love
more
Luke's
points.
comeback. I like how it feels on my penis. What?
It's a very Luke comeback. It's a very like that the way he says it. He's used similar rebuttals on rounds in other battles, and it's him paying attention. It's him being in the moment and him hearing what's being said, and not just waiting for his turn to tell a joke.
Yeah.
He's letting it roll and then coming back with that rebuttal.
Also, props to Luke. There's very few male comedians who could say the phrase "I like how it feels on my penis" without sounding like a predator.
Yeah.
He's one of the, I'd say one of 3 male comedians who could get away with that.
I think so. I think it's the youthfulness that he presents. Like he seems very
also
youthful.
He's a silly boy.
He is a silly
his
boy.
cadence to that. I like the way it feels on my penis.
Yeah, so if you're not like watching this, if you're just listening to it, he kind of does it kind of so offhand, kind of not even like addressing the audience. He's just kind of like, oh yeah, while he's looking down at his notes. It's a lovely little piece of theatre.
Yeah.
Again, kind of the physical performance of these jokes is important, like where you're looking and how you're doing it, and that is hard to prepare for. Like you don't know where the other person's going to be. You don't know how they're going to, what their physicality is going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this tournament, more than any other roast battle, you're going to have to go off notes because you have to have written so much stuff. There's no way you can have memorized everything.
Yeah. I love the double down on Gollum.
Gollum,
Mount
the
Doom,
little
when she's
callback.
not throwing rings into the fire. Love a callback.
Is it a callback or is it like a double dip? Like, is it?
I think it's a callback.
Yeah.
Because it's going back to the Gollum reference.
Yeah.
I think it's a callback. Yeah.
I think they we were talking about Joshua Bethania earlier, who is great at doing these running gags, like coming through in every round.
I think on Friday he just repeated the guy's name.
Yeah, but 5
times.
That guy's own voice recording. I was privy to the text exchange between them because I was on that group chat, and where he says, "Oh, can you just send me a voice recording of you saying your own voice?" And the guy was like, "Okay," and they completely screwed him over with it and used it against him.
Yeah.
But the repetition of joke, and we'll talk about people like Adam Green who've got running jokes that build over the course of the night. This doesn't go on. He only comes back to the Gollum reference, but they started in round 1 with Gollum, comes back to it in this 4th round. The
bug-eyed freak child trying to shag cats.
Yeah. It's complex.
There's a lot of imagery there.
There is a lot going on. I think it might be a little bit too much trying to like keep that all in your head.
Yeah.
And you have to say, oh, she looks like Gollum, or we've established that, and she's into cat cafes, and she freezes her eggs. So you need all these parts. You need to keep those in your head as the listener, and then kind of factor it. I think it's a little bit overcooked in terms of a round. I think there's a little bit too much in it too.
To have to, I think with this one, I'm gonna have to, because there's too much going on with both of their jokes. I think I'm gonna have to just give it to the best joke out of all of those ideas, and I'm gonna give it to Steph with the metaverse joke. That was nice. That was simple. Remember when we were listening to I'm doing an Adam Green right now. Wasn't that a good time?
I think retroactively the fuck soil, I think, because again, that was a timely reference at the time. Saltburn was more recent then. And I didn't get that until you just explained it to me, and it's just gone up in my estimation because of that. But I think Steph as well, but for a different reason. Right, takes us on to the last round.
Jimmy Neutron over here studied physics at university.
Baby. That guy's smart.
It's uncanny.
That guy's smart.
He did study physics at university so he could contact his home in outer space, which is ironically a dwarf planet.
It is. It's pretty good. That's a good joke. Let's be honest, Steph's a sad, lonely whore. She should apply for Love Island, but I think she should skip the TV bit and kill herself now. Is that 5? That's 5. That'll do.
Luke Hall and Steph Aritone! A battle there from the twins from The Shining if one of them had a sex change.
Wow, okay. So,
I mean, the best round by a mile.
Yeah, doubling down again from Luke on something else this time. So starting off with Jimmy Neutron.
We were talking about that earlier on today, where we were talking about a joke that we don't expect to get that much of a laugh. It's just a throwaway line.
Yeah.
And it gets a huge reaction from the audience. I think that's what happened to Steph.
Yeah.
Because you could see her just look around and be like, oh yeah, I forgot that was funny when I wrote it.
Well, the Jimmy Neutron
The Jimmy Neutron bit.
Because there's no joke to it. It's just Jimmy Neutron. And I mean, I'm a bit too old to have enjoyed Jimmy Neutron at the time, but I am familiar with what that character looks like. I went, that's a relatively good thing. That only works as like a throwaway setup. Like you'd need more than that. You can't say, you look like Jimmy Neutron. That's not enough. But to throw it in as an early setup, it just... The fewer words you can say in, it just gets that quick connection to the audience, and like, oh yeah, he does look like that. And but then it also tees up the science / sci-fi / space to get to the punchline, which is Dwarf Planet.
Fantastic.
Which is a great punchline to get to. I think it takes a little bit of a walk to get there. Like to say, oh yeah, because he uses it to contact people in outer space, which is where it's from. A Dwarf Planet. But the punchline is so good that you're like, okay, I'll go in this journey. It doesn't linger too much. Very, very strong.
Yeah.
And then Luke was sad, lonely whore.
So good. But also, I love when Luke does this a lot, where he'll just say something that sounds... He'll say an insult. And we've talked about how roast battle is not about just saying a horrible thing about another person. One of the only people who can get away with that is Luke Hall.
Yeah.
Because he always frames it like a fact that we've all come to a shared understanding about.
Yeah.
Every time he'll call someone what's just a schoolyard insult, he will frame it and deliver it in a way that you're automatically complicit in that.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a good way to get away with that.
I wouldn't recommend it to other people to try. It's
never.
Very, very hard to pull off.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is what we discussed earlier. It's like you can tell that they get on, you can tell that they're friends.
Yeah.
But it's also built on all his previous rounds as well.
Yeah.
So
yes, he's established this character very well.
It's more complex than it sounds just by saying sad, lonely whore.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd started the entire battle by calling her sad, lonely whore, that would have been a very different scenario.
Yeah, even he may have struggled with that. Yeah. But then it's not like he kicked off with the Gollum having a bad summer was the kind of a milder start. So he eased the audience in as it was. But the fact that he stuck the landing on that was very impressive.
Yeah, also that Love Island joke is fantastic.
Again, something that the audience gets, and this is what people think roast battle is going to be a lot of, and sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Going to dark places, and we're discussing in not the most tactful way things that are devastating to society, but we're using it as a way.
I can't believe I'm an adult human being that's going to say this, but if you're going to tell someone to kill yourself, you better have a good joke to justify it.
And that's the difference between some battlers who just come on and say stuff like that, and then it falls flat. It doesn't work.
I think I've judged a battle before where it was a female comedian battling a male comedian, and obviously he should kill himself because he's a man, But beyond that, she didn't have any other justification. So it was like, no, give me a reason as to why he should have killed himself.
Yeah, for example, that you are a...
sad, lonely whore.
Checks notes, yes, sad, lonely whore. I think the way that Luke has structured his jokes, I think more than Steph, like there's a build to it. Like they had to be in that order really to work. Like the callback comes not the next joke, but it's one after. It's punctuated in a way that there's flow to it. It builds, and then everything kind of comes together at the end. The structure to it is very.
As someone who writes with Luke quite a bit for Roast Battle, anyway, he puts a lot of thought into the ordering of a joke.
Yeah,
and it's a good amount of thought, and he does it well. Yeah. But when you're working with him, you can see the amount of like the thought process that goes into him saying, okay, if I'm doing this joke, it's a difficult topic. It's either 3 or 4. If I'm doing this joke, it's the best one, in my opinion. It's going to be number 5 or number 1, but I can't start with something. Like he'll put so much thought into it, and it works out.
Yep, and this is why this is a battle happening in the finals of the tournament. This tournament would have been going on for weeks and weeks. Lesser comedians would have been knocked out in previous rounds. This guy never made it through to the finals yet. I will one day. But it's because of all those little details. It's alliteration, it's the structure, it's the storytelling, it's being able to highlight things, and it's just kind of a masterclass from Luke kind of showing them all. But the thing is, I think Steph held her end up really, really well.
Definitely.
It's got some incredible jokes in there, and that's why she deserved to be in that final as well. Okay, so there we have it. We've broken down Steph Aritone versus Luke Hall from the 2024 tournament. The judges' results went towards Luke, but having the time to reflect on it in less real time, because the judges are under time pressure. They have to kind of go with how the audience felt in the room. But we have the luxury of being a bit more separated by both time and geography from this battle. Shalaka, how do you think, in the comfort of my kitchen, you think you would have voted for this battle?
I think I would have voted for Luke as well. I think it's just Steph did phenomenally. She did so well. But just in terms of consistency in delivery, having jokes that genuinely made me laugh out loud, which is very difficult to do at this point, and just imagination. They both had their weak jokes, like bug-eyed freak child trying to shag a cat is not my favorite joke in the world.
That was Luke's weakest.
And also the one I did not, fructose brother, is not one of my favorite jokes. But I think broadly, based on consistency, I would still vote for Luke.
I have to agree, but I think that the quality of Steph's jokes would have won most battles on any other day, and even on 50% of the time against Luke could have gone the other way if his jokes hadn't been absolutely spot on. But I agree that I think the judges got it right on this one.
Yeah. What would you say your joke of the battle was?
I'm really fond of that fuck soil joke. And partially it's because it's now a new joke again, because the way you've explained it to me, I feel stupid for not having got it at the time, and it just feels it has those qualities that I really like, where it's timely, it references something that people get, and the kind of the rat boy side of things. It's like one of those things where, like if someone's calling Steph looks like Gollum, which is, there are qualities where you can kind of see where it makes sense.
Yeah.
But she's a very attractive young lady. It doesn't on so many things, but you laugh with it. And the same with Luke, who's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
Saying he looks like a rat boy is absolutely... Although that's not as much of a downside as it used to be.
To be fair, Luke does look very rodent-esque.
Yeah.
He's got a very Watership Down vibe about him.
Wow, okay. Oh, that's so triggering for people of my generation. Watership Down is just... Oh my God, that's our Vietnam.
That's right.
It's don't Google it if you haven't seen it. It's horrible. I think the rat boy is really good. I think that with Luke's battle, it is the sum of the parts that I think I'm most impressed with. Just how overall it's been structured. And any individual one of them, they're great. But I think the totality of it, how the whole battle is presented, is better than any individual parts. And I think maybe the opposite or inverse is true for Steph, where as a whole it's fine, but it's not bigger than the sum of its parts. Some of the individual jokes I liked of Steph's more, and I say that the fuck soil joke I retroactively love that joke now. Also, it's kind of gone away. Like, I don't think we can make Saltburn jokes anymore.
No, not even a little bit.
No.
She's already Wuthering Heights is out. Like.
Yeah, and we'll see all of those Bronte jokes coming out. Wait, that is Bronte, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I don't read. I think that joke stands out to me, but that's not to say that Luke's battle overall was better just because of how everything fits together really well. I think overall, though, an exceptionally good example of so many of the techniques that go into writing and performing and listening and the rebuttals. Even if it's like I like the way it feels on my penis. That's up there, though. That's not something that he's written. He doesn't know when that's going to come in. That just works.
I agree.
And it's
also, I love when roast battlers have a very distinct personality. People talk about comedy persona all the time, but roast battler persona is also a huge thing. And Luke's personality is so big and so understandable, relatable, and likable. And something like I like how it feels on my penis just feeds into that persona.
Yeah, and you're right that it takes a particular type of person to be able to get away with a line like that, and he absolutely can.
Yeah. My favorite joke of the battle was 6-7, the dwarf one.
Which we're now retroactively adding a new dimension to as well.
But I think it's very impressive that was her first, not even her first joke, the first joke of the battle.
Yeah.
And I still remember it after all of that's been said and done. So that's going to be my favorite one.
I think on some levels that's a tie then, but in a more real sense, Luke is the winner. But a fantastic battle. This type of battle and many more of different calibers like it are on every time there's a roast battle show. And no matter how many of these clips you see online, no matter how much we talk about them and show video of them, it's nothing like being
in the room.
Yeah. The live show, being there and experiencing it is phenomenal. And if some of you feel brave enough, it's definitely open to new people coming and joining us and being part of it. If you have any questions about what goes into writing a roast battle, or want to know how roast battles get put together, what we use as inspiration for writing jokes,
then drop us a DM on Instagram at HardlinesPod and drop us a follow while you're there. You can follow me on Instagram at DrewTellsJokes and Shalaka at Shalaka Kurup. And to get tickets for the next live show here in London, head over to roastbattle.co.uk/tickets.
So that's it from us for now. We'll be back soon with another episode, but it's goodbye from me, Drew Stearne.
It's goodbye from me, Shalaka Kurup.